Host, me, Vulpi Killer, happy honkings. Welcome to Vulpi's Snapshot Review. Like this intro, we've got a smaller than usual snapshot in our hands, so let's get right to it. 20W17A came out this week on April 22nd, 2020, being completely overshadowed by the much more interesting Animal Crossing update. Step up your game, Mojang. This snapshot really doesn't do much that affects us, with a few major exceptions. As always, we'll be covering the features first. Starting this snapshot up with something complicated is the addition of the /attribute command. This command allows players to modify the attributes of entities. I kind of doubt this will be usable by most players on the MRT once we update based on the nature of the command, but hopefully I'm wrong here. Also, /ast existing makes this somewhat redundant, so again, I don't expect this to be usable by most players. Secondly, we've got the thing I'm kind of excited for this update. A new option was added to the graphical settings in the form of a toggleable entity rendering distance. This means item frames and armor stands can have the distance they render at changed. Mojang has allowed us to set the range from the performance handy 50% distance to the goddamn Nito for MRT vision 500%. Being able to lower the entity render may also make said island cities far less laggy for players to visit, yes. It wouldn't be a 1.16 snapshot without some new tags. I don't know why Mojang has been focusing on them so much, but we've got another one in the form of the pressure plate tag and the stone pressure plate tag. These tags indicate exactly what they say on the tin. Hooray, I guess. Last week's update added chains, and this week's update added more sounds for those chains. You can finally live your fantasy of, let's just move on. World creation has seen a small change. Difficulty and game rules can now be set on the Create World screen. That's all for the features. There's nothing really big on paper, but I feel like the entity render distance thing is going to be real big in a subtle way. Now, on to the changes. Like features, the change list here isn't super big and most of it can be ignored. Not all of it though, and we'll be covering those things up next. Soulfire torches and Soulfire lanterns have been renamed and have dropped fire from their names. Cool. Walls now turn to posts when pressure plates and banners are placed on them. Bastion remnants and ruined portals have been modified, causing bastion remnants to have different, slightly worse loot, and ruined portals to appear less. Here's one of the big changes this update. Block storage format in chunks has been tweaked with optimization in mind and should result in speed boost to pathfinding and world generation. The wiki lists a rather detailed explanation of what this actual update does and how it modifies how Minecraft works, so I will be getting into that to provide more details. I quote, "Block states in sections element no longer contain values stretching over multiple 64-bit fields. If the number of bits per block is not a power of 2, some bit will not be used. For example, if a single block state takes 5 bits, the highest 4 bits of every 64-bit field will be unused. This means a slight increase in storage size will occur." The summary was, to say the least, a bit confusing. The font system the game uses has been updated, allowing for a full range of Unicode characters. This means emojis and other Unicode characters can be used for the chat. Oh dear. The game's JSON text format has been changed, and it now supports 6-digit hexadecimal colors rather than just the 16 default color codes. This is quite cool, and we could possibly get a plugin in the future that allows us to use hundreds of different colors. Saving was modified slightly, and when saving the game, it now creates a randomly named temporary file instead of just using the file name of level.dat_new. Player.dat now also does the same thing. Those are admittedly some really impressive under the hood changes, and the entity thing from before as well thrown into those really changed the server in some subtle ways. bug fixes next, and Mojang definitely delivered this time around. 43 issues were fixed this update, roughly half of them pertaining to pre-1.16 versions. Here are the ones that actually do things for us. MC5410 was dragged into a dark alleyway and shot. This bug caused flying down in creative mode to stop when you brushed up against ladders and vines. Thank you Mojang, this was annoying as hell. MC63020 was fixed, which caused the game to sometimes fail to render chunks. Ever been looking at a corner or only for part of your game just to stop rendering, causing you to see the sky? That was this now X bug causing that. MC96319 was resolved, which caused issues with pathfinding AI failing to regard some things as obstructions. Mobs will now gracefully sidestep Mitch McConnell. MC11544 was killed with a newspaper. This bug caused players to sometimes be kicked from servers while sleeping with the message of flying is not enabled on this server. MC126244 was killed with molten aluminum being poured down into its nest. This multi-legged little bastard caused extreme TPS lag with /locate on servers without structure generation. A similar sub-bug, if you will, involving dolphins, which caused them when fed to vomit out TPS drops onto the server, has been fixed. The dolphins have been told not to now, and we should be good. That's a lot of server-related bug fixes. I'm sure the admin team will be real happy about this one. We'll be taking a short break to pad out this episode in order to make it seem like I actually put effort into this review before returning to listen to what the community has to say. I'll see you then.
MCR! On the line, on the go!
Gonna take my horse to the hotel room. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attached. Head is matted black, got
Good day, I'm Kitty Cat11231 in the MBS newsroom. Here's what's happening. The Mole 10 had its first 2 sessions over the weekend. This season, taking place 2 years after the previous Mole season, had the Mole's largest number of participants, most of which have been eliminated. The game features a group of contestants working together in challenges to win money. For a final pot, only one will win. But one player is designated as the Mole, whose job it is to covertly sabotage the group's efforts. At the end of the last episode, Mine Man was eliminated, but his elimination was later revealed to be a hoax. More on that twist can be seen in the events channel in Discord. MBS coverage of the Mole 10 will be uploaded upon the conclusion of the season. The MRT Vision Screenshot Contest is underway. 21 screenshots are in the final for the contest, and voting for both participants and members of the public is currently open. MBS broadcasted the semifinals ceremony on Friday, where the qualifiers for the final were revealed, and will be broadcasting the final ceremony on May 9th. The coronavirus pandemic continues to impact the MRT. There are over 3 million confirmed cases worldwide, and activity continues to remain high on the MRT as members are forced to remain home due to the worldwide spread of the disease. The United States, from where many members originate, has over 1 million confirmed cases. With the May GSM coming up in a couple weeks, Frumple has asked 2 survey questions to the community on Discord. The first question asks whether the UCars plugin should be removed, amidst reports that some traditional minecart systems were affected by the plugin. A majority so far have voted in favor of removing UCars. The second question asks whether the hold on MRT line extensions into the Zeta region should be lifted. A majority so far have voted against lifting that hold. You can vote on both questions in the survey questions channel in Discord and give your opinions in the survey discussion channel. Godzilla Train, who was recently promoted back to mod at this month's GSM following his resignation from admin last year, is proposing a new MRT line, the Union Line, to run from Pearl Coast to the Savannah Line via cities such as Fort Yaxir, Boston, Shillerton, and Deadbush. Staff will be considering the proposal at the May GSM. Echo Hugh has been elected president of the Epsilon Republic. The election went into several rounds of instant runoff, after which Echo Hugh was elected with 57.6% of the vote. As the Llama Libertarians are also the largest party in the Epsilon House of Representatives, John G. has been designated as Prime Minister. And the MRT Golf Association is hosting a 2-day, 72-hole golf tournament in CO Land on May 2nd and 3rd. The tournament will be broadcast live by our colleagues at MBN, the MRT Broadcasting Network. That's the latest from MBS News. For more news, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/news_MBS. From MBS News in Central City, I'm Kitty Cat11231. Now back to Vulpi Snapshot Review.
Welcome back. In the second half of this episode, we will be going over the community's answers to last week's question. The question was, in case you forgot, with all of 1.16's blocks, do you plan on starting a new city once the server updates? If so, what sort of architecture style will you be going for? Please note that no silly answers were accepted this time around, so if you're watching to see if I cast what little dignity I left into an open flame, you're out of luck. However, you can tune in next week to see me do exactly that. Without any further stalling, let's get right into it. A round of applause for Chief, who wrote in his first ever actual answer. Very proud of you, Chief. I always knew you could do it someday. He had the following to say. No, at least not a whole new town. I've got enough on my plate at the moment, and starting a 4th town doesn't seem like a good idea for me to pursue just yet. That said, I do plan on incorporating some of the new blocks into designs of new districts within Biwabik as it expands. I'm particularly excited about the Roadiest Roady McRoadface Roadable Roady Road blocks, meaning the approximately 37 blocks with the word Blackstone in their names, and using them within some of the quieter roads around the city. Also, the lighting in Sibley Plaza, while already fantastic, will probably get an upgrade once chains become a thing. Those are so much cooler than hanging lanterns off iron bars or glass panes. That's all he had to say. In response, I say the following. Roads, 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 roads. Now that I've got that out of my system, I will say I do agree with the iron bars being inferior to chains. I love the lighting system you've already got in Sibley Plaza, so being able to see what you can do with it with Soulfire and chains will be really frickin' cool. Lastly, we've got So Puffball's response to the question. Only 2 responses, eh? Odd. Do you really expect me to start another new town when I just started a new Zeta-ish town already? But I'd probably be having a new district of the town to see if I could fit in Warped or Crimson logs to building our school by building rural/fancy houses. Maybe I'll just get the town to at least center first before I make a new town, as I already use andesite, yes. For my roads, I am also unlikely to use basalt. Okay, admittedly this hasn't been the best question I've asked so far. However, seeing as you tend to knock it out of the park when it comes to fancy designs, I will be excited to see this new district. Feel free to send me some screenies when it's done. Also, andesite roads? Really? Fucking heretic. That is unfortunately it for this community section. I hope you enjoyed the comparably shitpost-free segment this time around, but I'll be opening up the floodgates for more garbage tier responses for the next episode. The rather lengthy question for next week is, do you think 1.16 will affect the server much once we update the server, and if so, what do you think the single most important feature or change is as far as the MRT is concerned, and why? That is all for this week's review. I will say that I am kind of unsure if Mojang will release another snapshot for the upcoming week, as I believe they are winding down for 1.16, but if they do, you can bet your arse I'll be reporting on it. Thanks for watching, folks. Fox out.